Welcome back. Today we're going to be checking out this. This is our newest kit in the Maker Shed, and it is a DIY arcade joystick. This thing goes together like a breeze. It's so easy, it doesn't even require any soldering. Everything you need comes in the box, including the box itself that you use as the case. Let me take you through the process of building this so you can see just how easy this is. But the most awesome thing is this works plug and play on any computer or even your Raspberry Pi. Okay, let's check out what comes in this kit. Now, some details may change between now and when it ships. We're still finalizing a few things, but I think this is pretty much what you'll get. Comes in a just a plain white box, and when you open it up, we have this cool sticker, which also doubles as your layout. We have in this container here, we have our joystick. And then this bag are all the other parts that you need. All the buttons, all the wires, etc. So we have our joystick topper, we have some arcade buttons, we have the wires here, all pre-crimped. The ends are put on them so you don't have to solder a thing. Here's the board that does all the magic. Everything plugs in here, it plugs into your computer, and it just works. And then this is, of course, the cover that goes on that so that you don't see the hole, and there is the cable. Okay, we're ready to begin. Now, first off, and this is very important, you're not going to want to use the top of your box. The way the lid is made, there's just not enough support here. You start moving it around and pulling on it, and this lid's going to come undone. You actually want to use the bottom of the box, which means that these flaps here might get in your way. So you can either choose to cut through them or cut them off. The instructions tell you to cut them off, and you can do that by unfolding everything or just carefully cutting with an X-Acto knife, and that's what I'm going to do. Now that those are cut off, you're going to want to tape them down so that they stay out of the way. You could tape those up to the sides, you can tape them down flat, either way, just as long as they're out of the way of where your buttons and stuff are going to go. Then you flip over your box, see how you've got this little curve, put that away from you. So you're looking at the bottom of the box, and that little curve is away from you. And this is where you're going to cut you're going to mount everything, you're going to cut your stuff. Now, there may be a paper stencil, or you can use the sticker itself as your template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the sticker as my template, and I'm going to peel away a portion of this backing, not the whole thing. This just makes it a little easier for me to line it up and put it on here. I feel like that's pretty centered. And then I can peel off the rest of this backing and place that smoothly on the box. Doesn't have to be perfect. As you can see, I didn't space things just absolutely perfectly, as long as it's pretty centered. This looks pretty cool. For cutting these holes, it's recommended that you, of course, use a very sharp knife and go very carefully. Now, another useful thing you can do is get a toothpick or a small screwdriver or anything sharp. I have this tool that I use for vinyl stickers that's really sharp and pokey. And you can kind of poke holes in a circle to help guide your cutting. And depending on the kind of template you use, that can be especially easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm just poking some holes in a circle here to help guide. It isn't necessary with the sticker because the sticker stays in place, but let's say, for example, you had taped a piece of paper down here. poking the holes is a great way to mark your spots so that the paper doesn't move around whenever it's time to cut. So I'm just demonstrating this so you can see how it would work. Okay, so I've poked those holes, and then I just need to carefully cut that out. And this is, of course, the hole for one of our arcade buttons. And there we go, we have a hole. Now, the button layout, of course, you can do this however you want. But now that you have this hole, these buttons simply slide into place. Look at that. That looks fantastic. Now I'm going to do all of these, and then we'll tackle the joystick, because it's a little bit more complicated. I've got all the buttons in place on the top here, including the start and select. I haven't touched the joystick yet. We'll get to that, but you will notice in your container you have these extra buttons that are the same size as the start and the select. You can put those anywhere you want. Recommended would be on the sides in case you want to play some virtual pinball, but really you can put them wherever you want. So if you have a game, a fighting game, and you have macros, or you want to do something up here, so you can hit it with this hand, whatever. Put them wherever you want. I'm going to put mine on the sides, and there's a tip for that. Since you don't have a stencil for your sides, if you open up your box and get out all of your holes that you cut and find the ones for that smaller size, you can line them up and trace them on the side of your box to end up with a template. Now remember, on the sides you are cutting through 2 layers of cardboard, so you're going to have to go a little extra deep on that. But that is what I'm going to do. Alright, all of my buttons up here are in place. My pinball buttons are in place here. This is exciting. I love how this is coming together. It's time to tackle this joystick. It's a little bit more complicated because you have to mount it, but we'll get to that. First, you have to cut this hole just like you did all the other holes. And to do this, you're going to have to flip the box over, open it up, and place it. But remember, when you place your joystick through, it's going to stick out. So it would be smart to get some stuff to put under your box to lift it up off of your workstation so that things can fit snug. Now I'm lucky in that I'm using a workbench here that has bench dog holes in it, so I can actually stick that joystick down in there. But you might want to stack some books or something so that you can stick it down in there flush. You'll see what I mean. So we took it, we're going to flip it over, we're going to open it up. Here, let's flip it around a little bit just to look at it. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to place our joystick in there with this connector here facing all the buttons. So it needs to go in like this. Now you can see what happens if you don't have something underneath here. So if I had this lifted up on boxes, see, that fits slack, but if I just put it down on a surface, it flops around and it ruins your whole day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide that joystick into a bench dog here. Now again, you could just stack this on some books or something. And once that's in place and kind of squared up, you're going to need to fasten it in place. You could use a hot glue gun, which I'm going to use to start here. And I'm just going to hot glue all around the edge. Or if you have nuts and bolts that fit this, you can use those as well. It should fit a standard M4 bolt. I have a stack of M3 bolts here, which will work just as well. I'm just going to take some little bolts and washers, and what I'll do is I will poke a hole through here. Once this hot glue is cooled down, I'll poke a hole through, I'll feed the bolt through from the other side just for a little bit of additional gripping. That's not necessary. Your hot glue should hold it pretty well for quite a while. Time for your control board. Now here is a tip. Before you glue this thing in, look here on the back and you can see that these buttons are labeled. Write those labels right next to it on the cardboard, and then you can glue it in place and you'll know exactly what each one of these plugs are, because these here are not labeled on the front of the board. And then you can hot glue it in place. You can see I hot glued mine before realizing that this would be a smart thing to do. So I'm going to glue it back in. Once it's hot glued in place, you can attach all of your jumper wires in place to each corresponding button. Okay, everything is wired in as per the instructions. You can see it's a little bit tight getting some of those wires all the way across the box, but it all works. The only thing that I would point out, just a tip, is that this one that goes into the joystick is easy to flip over. There's no way that tells you exactly which direction it needs to go. So just remember, if you plug it in and the joystick does kind of the opposite of what you're expecting or doesn't work, try to flip that one over right there. We'll try it out and see. The USB cable needs to go out where this little dip is. And there's a lot of ways to try to attach that and make it work. The instructions say to cut a hole right here and feed it through there. Now then when you open the box, you have this wire you need to worry about. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut a slot here in this, and I'm going to hot glue this right here, and then the slot will just go on either side. When I close it, I can open it and close it, and the cable will stay right there and be just fine. So it's just going to take a lot of hot glue on here to hold that in place. Now whenever I close it, that cable will still be in there and it will not be in my way when I open it. So we'll put the cable in there and then I can open and close it, no problem. Once this glue is dry here, we should be able to open and close this perfectly. And then our cable is there, we can open and close it without issue. Now it's time to test. Now I have just a Raspberry Pi set up here with an emulator and of course games that I already own. And here I'm going to give this a try. It's already working. Let's see here. I'm horrible at this game. Unfortunately, the controller isn't going to make you good at the game. So let's see if it works here. It's also a really difficult angle here too. Oh, he got me. A little bit of electric. Oh, no. Well, it may be difficult based on how poorly I play to tell that this is working, but it is working beautifully. Now, like I said, this controller plugs directly into a computer and is detected as a USB joystick. That's also a great way to troubleshoot it. If you plug it into your computer and open up the gamepad properties, you can actually see each button activate, and that will let you know that they are all working. That's it. So as you can see, this is a wonderful kit for absolute beginners or maybe somebody who just wants a quick and easy project to do over a weekend without getting too deep in stuff. I love how it looks. I love how it plays. One thing you might want to do is make a new face for it that's a little bit tougher than this cardboard eventually, maybe laser cut or CNC something. We should hopefully have files available for that you can download with the full template, so you don't even have to figure that out on the way. But as it is, it works beautifully. I like it. I'm going to use it. I hope you enjoy it too.